Good morning, class. Welcome to our first assignment for our flipped classroom. This is a lecture that I will give on a graffiti artist, a political graffiti artist by the name of Banksy. The intent of this particular assignment is for you to get familiar with his political artwork and hopefully motivate you to make some positive change through your particular artwork and then translate that to writing in a way where it can truly impact some change within your community, this being your Durfee school community. First and foremost, let me stress this with caution that graffiti art is an illegal activity, so we're not encouraging you in any way, shape, or form to vandalize the campus. What we are encouraging you, however, is to utilize your expression and your artistic talent in a way where we can mimic some graffiti art in terms of posters and things of that nature, where we can make some pretty productive change. First and foremost, this is my information piece on Banksy, the graffiti artist. Here is a portrait of Banksy. If we look at it, this artist is drawing a picture of the artist, and we do notice that there's not a lot of detail. Banksy presents his work in a very anonymous fashion. He is very well known, especially throughout Europe, and more specifically Britain. But his artwork has been documented throughout the world for his political stance, his political activism regarding his work. Even his self-portrait really says testament to the conditions that this artist has to endure in order for his artwork to be presented on a national setting. If we look over here, first and foremost, here's some information regarding Banksy. Banksy is an England-based graffiti artist. He's a political activist and film director of unverified identity. His satirical street art and subversive epigrams combine dark humor with graffiti, executed in a distinctive stenciling technique. His works of political and social commentary have been featured on streets, walls, bridges of cities throughout the world. Now, Banksy's work grew out of what's called the Bristol underground scene. This involved a collaboration between artists and musicians. Observers have noted that his style is very similar to Black Rat, who began work with stencils back in 1981 Paris. Banksy says that he was inspired by three-dimensional art, graffiti artists who later became, or by 3D, he's a graffiti artist who later became a founding member of Massive Attack, which is an English musical group. Banksy displays his art on publicly visible surfaces such as walls, self-built physical prop pieces. He does not sell photographs or reproductions of his street graffiti at all, but art auctioneers have been known to attempt to sell his street art on location and leave the problem of its removal in the hands of the winning bidder. Banksy's first film, Exit Through the Gift Shop, billed as the world's first street art disaster movie, made its debut in 2010 at the Sundance Film Festival. I encourage you to watch that to get inspired by some of his political activism. The film was released in the United Kingdom on March 5th, 2010. And in January 2011, he was nominated. He was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Documentary for that film. In 2014, he was awarded the Person of the Year at the 2014 Wibby Awards. This is Banksy. I'd like you to pose these questions and contemplate these questions as we go through the pictures that we are going to see in this presentation that'll hopefully motivate you to create your similar art piece, as well as prompt you to have some critical response and thinking towards some of his stances. So let's take a look at each of the pictures and talk about them with our partners and group. We're going to answer these questions as we review. And by all means, as you are going through this slide presentation, feel free to stop this at any time and have that discussion, have that collaboration with the students in your group. First and foremost, I want you to describe the picture to each other. Is there anything strange about the picture? And if so, what is strange about that picture? Is the picture trying to tell us anything political? Let's go ahead now and view some of his artwork. Here is a particular piece called Follow Your Dreams. From the onset, it's simply a painter painting a specific statement, follow your dreams. This could be emblematic, I think, of most governments, American society. Follow your dreams. You could do whatever you want. You know, as educators, we instill that upon you. But there are times where sometimes our dreams obviously can't be as easily achieved as others. Here is an example where that particular dream, maybe that the selling of that idea is abruptly stopped. Think about a movie and your anticipation, your drive to really see that new Avengers movie that comes out in the theater. You're anticipating, you're waiting in line, and right about that time that the movie is about to begin, the movie is canceled. Maybe you receive your refund, but nevertheless, that dream, that drive to see that movie and be the first one to see it has been canceled. How is this emblematic of the dreams that we have as people, as citizens, as residents of our community? Here's another one. We see what looks like to be a graffiti artist. In this case, we're not maybe necessarily throwing debris. Sometimes we might associate that with throwing bombs, throwing things that are of a very negative mindset. But what do we notice that's unusual? It's not a bomb being thrown. It's not something negative that's being thrown. It's a bouquet of flowers. What does this say about what we need to throw at each other? What do we need to present to each other as a society? Or is the perception that this person is a hoodlum? I want you to think back to cases not too long ago where maybe a young teen is wearing the wrong garb of clothes, and the perception of that teen is that teen a gangster? Is he affiliated with the wrong crowd? And as we can see in this picture, there's nothing negative. He is displaying the beauty of a floral arrangement. Maybe this is a testament to our misconception. Take a look and ponder, what do we see in this picture? Here's an interesting piece called Parking. What do we notice? Why are the ing whited out on the wall? What do we notice affixed to the A? What is the political statement that's being made by this picture? Here's a homeless man. Keep your coins. I want change. How does this picture really move us in terms of poverty and our position, our stance to eliminate poverty throughout the nation? Keep your coins. I want change. pause for a moment and discuss this picture. This is an art piece that is very emblematic, I think, to the criminalization of our youth. Here's obviously a girl, a schoolgirl, being frisked by the local authority. And obviously this is taking place in Britain because we know police officers in the United States don't traditionally wear hats of that nature. But I think the criminalization of youth is pretty rampant throughout all the world. What does this picture symbolize to you? Here we have a grandmother saying, "Keep Britain tidy." Kind of ironic, the message behind this and the overall presentation. What is odd about this picture? What political statement is Banksy implying by keeping Britain tidy? Why don't you pause for a moment and collaborate with your group? This picture is one of my favorites, this art piece. Migrants not welcome. Go back to Africa. Keep off our worms. I think this art piece by Banksy really resonates given the perception of most immigrants throughout the world, especially in England, most definitely in the United States, especially with this very tumultuous presidential election that many of you have been really focusing on and watching wholeheartedly, especially our school being one that has a very, very high immigrant population. This says so much. What is being implied by this picture? Why don't you pause for a moment and collaborate with the students in your group? No stopping, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And notice how the stop sign has been turned into a mouse on a wheel. I think very emblematic of the lifestyles that we live today. What does that mean about mankind being symbolic of the rat in the wheel moving non-stop Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Why don't you pause for a moment, discuss in your group, collaborate. What is Banksy trying to tell us through this artwork? And look at this one. This is very emblematic of society today, of couples today. I think this is emblematic of how we've kind of lost our individual personal relationships and have moved into that social media stream. Are we so fixated on what our next post is going to be, what is going on outside of our own world? It seems that we're so fixated on the people outside of our area, people that we can't physically touch, that sometimes we lose focus on what is so important in front of us. Why don't you pause for a moment, take a deep look, and what is Banksy implying by this artwork? At the conclusion of this presentation, I want us now to regroup. Your assignment for today and your additional thought are these additional thoughts. What do you consider about his artwork? Do you consider his artwork? Do you consider Banksy's work art? Is it art? Why or why not? Most of his work does not last for